Hi everyone, this is Krista with Art Graphics Studio. Welcome to my channel, and if you've been here before, then welcome back. Today we're going to be assembling my mini Christmas ornament book. This book measures 1 3/4 by 2 inches, and you can choose from the Silent Night style or the blank. So let's get started. If you're a Cricut Design Space user, you can access some of my shared projects by opening Cricut Design Space, and on the home screen, in the search bar, type Art Graphics Studio and press Enter. Then scroll down to Community Members and click on Art Graphics Studio. There you'll find all of my shared projects. If you have not already downloaded your SVG file, you can go to my Etsy shop by going to etsy.com and searching for Art Graphics Studio. Then scroll or search for the SVG you're looking for. If you are a Cricut Design Space user, you may be able to access my free designs. Sometimes, depending upon your system and or your software, you may have to resize your uploaded design before you can make it. While I'm demonstrating this in Cricut Design Space, the same principles apply no matter what software you're using. So to get started, you'll need to upload your design files. Now, typically in Cricut, this is going to be an SVG file, but there might be other files, PDFs or PNGs or JPEGs. So let's go to Upload, Upload Image, and Browse. Now we're going to go to where we know our files are, in this case, crafts and envelopes. Now today I'm going to show you on this 4.5 by 9.5 inch envelope. So I'll open that and open the SVG file. Now here's our file. So let's upload that. And here it is. Now let's just click on that. And you see this green border? That indicates that it's selected. So we want to add that to our canvas over on the lower right. Now here we have it. Let's make it a little smaller so we can see the whole thing. Now you can see it's all grouped, but before we ungroup it, we need to do one thing, and that is to resize it, or to see if we need to resize it. In this case, I said I wanted a 4.5 by 9.5 inch card. So I'm going to create a rectangle, unlock the edit, and change that to width of 9.5 and a height of 4.5. Oops, 9.5. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to move this size that I know to be the correct size into place. About there. And as you can see, that's pretty close. So I think I'm just going to use that. And I'm going to get rid of that because I don't need it now. But let's say, for example, our envelope or whatever our project was came in at a different size. So here's the size we wanted. But as we can see, it's way too small. So what we want to do now is to adjust the size of the project. In this case, it's an envelope. So I'm just going to grab the corner and I'm going to expand it until I get it about where I think it ought to be. Now I've gotten it a little too big, so I'm going to reduce that. And there, that's about what we need for it to be. So we don't need our rectangle anymore. And here we are, ready to start designating our score lines. So now we know it's the right size. Let's go ahead and ungroup it. Now we want to change our score lines into score lines because they come in as cut lines. And in order to do that, click on the area that you know to be your score lines. And the way you know these will be score lines is because this box right here turns red. So we want to change basic cut to score. Now you can see that we have our score lines. Now all you have to do is select both your score lines and your design and attach them. Now you're ready to make it. And when it comes up, you can see that your score lines and your design is all on your cutting board and ready to cut. This is a 1 3/4 by 2 inch mini book ornament. Now you don't have to make it an ornament if you don't want to. You can just leave the ribbon off. But I'm going to show you how to do it with the ribbon. And this is the little blank that you can decorate to your own desires. Doesn't have to be Christmas, can be any event. And you can find this on my Etsy shop, Art Graphic Studio. This one is available through Cricut Design Space if you are an Access user. All right, let's get started. This is the cover, and these are the pages. And I printed the cover in cardstock, and I printed the pages in light cardstock. So we're going to start with the cover. So let's go ahead and fold along the score lines. Make sure you get the edges lined up nice and straight. And these will be glued together. And if you'll notice, if you do decorate one for yourself, the cover is the second panel in. So let's go ahead and glue that together. Line that up nice and straight. And then we're going to set that aside and let it dry. Now these are the pages. And in my case, I have put the song Silent Night on each of these. So you want to make sure that you get them in the right order. And we will fan fold along the score lines. Here again, you want to make sure you get it nice and straight. And I'll do that, and we'll be right back. All right, here they are all folded. And the next thing you want to do is you want to turn them over, and you want to glue these two together and these two together. Do not put glue on the outside of each panel. And we're going to let those dry. I'm going to put a paper clip on mine, help hold it in place while it dries. So I'll do that to the rest of these, and I'll be right back. All right, while those dry, let's go back to the cover, and let's fold it along the score lines. Here again, lining them up nice and straight. And there is our cover. Now, if you're going to make an ornament, you want to go ahead and attach your ribbon now to the back of that spine. And you can do it a couple different ways. You can use glue and just glue it down, let it dry. Or you can use tear and tape. I'm going to use tear and tape just for the speed of it, since this is a tutorial. Then I'm going to put another little piece of tear and tape on top of that part of the ribbon. There's our little cover. Now let's look at these. And here again, you want to make sure that they're in order if you have writing on them. Of course, if you just have decorations on them, you don't have writing, then that won't matter. So we want to take our first one. Now this will glue to this side of the cover. So this we want to glue to the next set, like this. And then we're going to take the last and we're going to glue it to the next set. And then the same thing on the very last one. Line them up nice and straight. And then this one will be glued here. So I'm going to let this dry for a few minutes. Here again, get them nice and straight. Let them dry, and then we'll come back and attach them to the cover. Okay, so here's our pages. And you want to make sure that you put them in there right side up. And we're going to glue this to here and this to here. Set that right in there. And then we're going to let that dry. Now, if you'd like to, you can always use some shading, some VersaPrint around the edges to give it a little bit more antique look, kind of get rid of that white around the edges. That's just up to you. Just gives it a little bit more of an antique look. And if you want to, you can always do this before you glue it together. Takes a little longer to do it that way, but Okay, that's all there is to it. Merry Christmas. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and if you find this video useful, don't forget to click the like, subscribe, and notification bell to stay informed about more exciting projects. I appreciate you watching my video, and I will see you next time.